Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode with your girl, Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring. Hopefully you guys are doing well this evening. So we're going to continue on our path with fraction operations, but this time we're going to do a little bit of multiplying, a little bit of dividing, and also we're going to see if we can work on that simplifying those lovely rationals. So if you're here, go ahead and tap away. If not, I'm just going to get started because I know it's probably a little late for most of us here. So as you guys are popping on in, if you want to go ahead and tap, that'll be fine. If not, hey, do what makes you happy. So what is going on right here? One, we are noticing that when we are adding and subtracting, we have to have that common denominator. But in this case, we do not need our LCD or our LCM. We do not need that least common denominator, okay? That is not needed when you're multiplying or dividing. But when it comes to that whole division, we have to remember it'll be so much easier if you multiply by that reciprocal and then you do what's called cross simplify. So you can multiply and then simplify. It will make your life so much easier. You might be able to find something that you can just simply cross out, or you're going to have to do a little bit of extra work just so we can get our numbers situated. So if we go ahead, let's start from the beginning. So if I said 4/9 multiplied, notice I am not using the x, okay? X is our variable once we get into algebra. So once we got our 4/9 times our 7/4, when we take a look at our two fractions, I notice right here for the numerator and the denominator, we both have 4 in common. So I'm looking at this as 4 divided by 4, which simply gives me 1. And we know that anything times 1 is going to be itself. So what remains is basically going to be our answer unless we have to simplify, which is 7/9. Okay, so when we have something in common that is in the one in the numerator, same in the denominator, they can simply cancel out and leave behind what's left. And you might have to break that down even a little bit further depending on the situation. So if I go over, I'm going to slide on over a little bit. So let's say if we have this one, and we have 8/7 times 7/10. So we have 8/7 times 7/10. So hopefully you're seeing that, hey, we have our 7s, one in the numerator, one in the denominator, and we can cancel those two things out. So what remains is our 8/10. Well, 8 and 10, they're both even. So that's screaming at me saying that there is some way that we can simplify this further. So if I want to reduce it, I can reduce it by 2 because both of them are even. And they work for both numbers, so that would be your GCF. So 8 divided by 2 will give us 4. And 10 divided by 2, that'll give us 5. Okay? So once we get it, then we can simplify it. Okay? So it's got to be something that 8 and 2 have in common. So what will be the greatest common factor? I know I can find an 8 in the 1s times table. I can find it in the 2s. I can find it in the 4s. For the 10s, I can find it in the 1s timetables, the 2s, and also the 5s. So basically, the lowest number that they have in common would be my 2s. Okay, so we got our 4/5. There we go. All right. Hey, Lynette. Hey, Shakita. Haven't seen you all day. It's like, hey, Kaya. There's probably some others that I'm skipping. Let me scroll. Okay, Marvelly, how are you? Yes. And then Camilla, how are you? Welcome in, guys. Welcome back. All right, thank you, Danielle. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so let's get with another one. So let's say -5/4 times 1/3. Okay, so -5/4 times 1/3. Well, as you're looking right this time, if I try to cross simplify, I don't have anything in common. So that's telling me that my two ratios or my two fractions are at their lowest terms. Yes, 5/4 is an improper fraction, but we can simplify it or put it as a mixed number after we're done with the multiplying. So now the way that I would love to multiply will be straight across horizontally. So -5 times 1, that gives me my -5. And then 4 times 3, that gives me my 12. Now take a look. What once was an improper fraction through that multiplication now has turned into a proper fraction. And as well, we have our negative times our positive, which gives us our result of a negative number. If you have questions, please do not hesitate to put it in here. I know for some people they're like, man, this is really easy. This is this. But here's my thing. There are a lot of people that are going back to school. They probably started this week, which is amazing. Congratulations. Or there might be in the week 2. My whole thing is there's people that haven't seen this in a minute and are expected to know this because they're probably professors or teachers probably said to them, oh, this is easy, you should know this by now. Well, if you haven't seen it since you were a fetus, it might take you a minute, okay? It might take you a little bit. So now, what happens if we have something like this? So we have -2/3 times 5/4. Okay. What should I do? I'm a lot of people, yes. Do I send out worksheets or something, or do we write it on paper? That's completely up to you. This is not a paid tutoring session, so that's going to be completely up to you. And you're trying to remember? Well, hey, I appreciate you saying that, Dr. Jeff. Okay. Elementary teacher coded? Aw, well, thank you. All right. So we can cross multiply. We could cross simplify. Okay, we can cross simplify. That is definitely and Ash is saying we got -5/6. Okay. All right. So now finish it out. So cancel out the 2 and you got your 4. Okay. All right. So you can take this one of two ways. Yes, you can cross simplify the -2 and the 4. So let's take a look. Go ahead and keep putting those answers up because there's 2 ways of approaching this. There's probably more, but I know 2 ways that will make things a lot simpler. Okay. All right. So Michelle is saying -5/6. Okay, make sure you reduce. Zaramo, make sure you reduce. Danielle saying negative 5, 6. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to help. Okay, good. And your mom, awesome. All right. So we got our one hands. Hey, Janice. Hey, Big Al. Goose Hunter. Hello. How's goose hunting? All right. So we don't need a common denominator because we're multiplying this time. Okay, adding and subtracting, yes, common denominator. Multiplying, we can basically cross simplify. So we can do one of two things. We could multiply negative 2 times 5, which gives me a negative 10. And then multiply the 3 times 4, which gives me 12. But since both negative 10 and 12 are both even, that means I can reduce it, and I can reduce it by 2. So if I reduce it by 2, that means I'm dividing by 2. So if I divide my numerator by 2 and divide my denominator by 2, I would get an answer of negative 5 over 6. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is called cross-simplifying. The reason why I'm not saying cross-multiplying, because cross-multiplying occurs when you have one ratio or fraction equal to another ratio or fraction, okay? And one of those terms, either the numerator or denominator, is missing. That's when you're doing cross multiplying. But when you are multiplying those two fractions, you're doing what's called cross simplifying. Now you notice here at negative 2 and 4, they both have a 2 in common. So if I divide this negative 2 by 2, this will give me a negative 1. And if I divide this 4 by 2, this will give me a 2. So I look here at the 3 and the 5. Yeah, the only thing they have in common is 1. So I can't do anything with that. So once I cross simplify, then I'm going to multiply horizontally. So negative 1 times 5, that gives me a negative 5. And then 3 times 2 will give me 6. Okay? So you pick which way best suits for you. If you're feeling really comfortable with, okay, let me multiply straight across and then simplify, you can do that. If you feel like cross simplifying is the way to go, then you multiply across, you can do that. So you get to pick which way that makes you feel comfortable. Because when it comes down to any kind of testing, GED, ASVAB, ACCUPLACER, maybe even just an Algebra 1 or pre-calc or college algebra class, regardless of it, when you're taking their test, trust me, most of the time, especially if it's not a classroom test, they're not going to ask you, oh, let me see what your process was so I can give you partial credit. They're not going to do that. Okay, so they're basically going to say, did you pick A, B, C, or D? Sometimes E, depending on the test. Okay. All right, cool. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you so much. And here's one thing, and I don't know if I'm feeling like very sheepish, but I've been doing some research today, and of course it put me in a mood. And I don't know if this might cancel me or not, but I'm going to say this. I love the gifts. Thank you. And I greatly appreciate it. But here's my thing. I'm not making anything off of these gifts. And I feel like this is crazy. I think because TikTok takes a huge huge chunk out of it. So there's like 2 ways that you can support me. If you love this and you want to support me, this is awesome. One of the ways, if you want to do on my Cash App, you can do it for ACG Math 13. That's awesome. Another way, if you can give me a Google review, like literally type in, look up this name, because, I can't really say it. Look up this name on Google and just type in a review. So if I ever helped you or you ever felt confident with anything, if you really want to support me, these are the best 2 ways to support me. Because trust me, mortgage, electric bill, water bill, they don't take TikTok 2 cents. I love it. I really do. Yep, I'm definitely giving more examples. I got more. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Huge amounts. So like as you guys are raining all these gifts and galaxies and all these things and opening doors and all that, and I love it. But then when you look, you're like, dude, that's I literally got 3 cents from this live. And yeah, and this is a lot of prepping and everything. So if you ever do, this is one place that you can do. I love it. Thank you. All right, so let's go back. And I know people are like, this is all I got. And I'm like, look, if it's $1, I am perfectly fine with that. All right, still with the multiplying, because I want to put it in different perspectives. Whoop. Okay, definitely want to put it in different perspectives, because it's going to get to the point that I really have to make the decision of, do I keep this up or do I have to go? Okay, so we have -2 times 3/7. Okay, thank you. Okay. Oh, Alicia, I've been trying to find you. How'd it go with the swearing and all that? Thank you. All right, thank you. $0.02. You called me. You're funny. Oof. I'm working for TikTok? Definitely not. Definitely not. Right? It's craziness. Oh, I'm excited for you. December 3rd. Oof. I know you're like running around trying to get everything situated. Oh my word. Okay, so Princess, you're saying to make that whole fraction, you're going to put 1 and make it a fraction. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. All right, so here's the thing. Anytime you have a whole number and you're multiplying it to a fraction, make it into a fraction by putting it over 1. Thank you, Princess. Okay, so you're saying 5/4? Saying -6/7, -6/7. All right, so let's take a look. Okay, let's take a look. So when I cross multiply, do I have anything that I can simplify? Okay, good. We got no's, we got no's, we got no's. Good. Okay, so now if I don't have anything to simplify, now all I have to do is multiply. So -2 times 3, that gives me a -6. And 1 times 7, that gives me a 7. So this is my answer, -6/7. Yep, that's all it is. Okay? Yep. So you're not cross multiplying, you're looking to cross simplify. I know it's a different lingo, but it's very important to understand the difference. So if I, let me see if I can find a small piece of paper so I won't mess up my notes. So like if I had, let's say, 2/7 is equal to 4 over x. Okay? This, because I have an equal sign and I have an unknown variable, this I can cross multiply. Okay? So I will come 2 times x, which gives me 2x. And then I would have 7 times 4, which gives me 28. So if I want to solve for x, I would divide both sides by 2. And then I have my x is equal to 14. Okay? This is cross multiply because I'm saying that this fraction is going to be equivalent to this fraction. Whereas when you're cross simplifying, it's because you have a multiplication. You're multiplying these two fractions together. Okay? So cross multiplying when you're trying to solve for x and you have two fractions. Cross simplifying when you're trying to reduce your fraction before you multiply. Okay, does that make it a little bit easier? Okay, so we're multiplying straight across. Yes, so we're not cross multiplying, but we're multiplying straight across. Oh, severe sprained. Ugh. Okay, let's try this one. All right, so we have -2, and this will be the next big option. Does it happen too often? It happens once in a while. Okay, so we're taking it a step up. Taking it a step up. Yep. And then Adrian, make sure it's a -6 out of 7. Okay? Thank you. All right. When to multiply and then add the 2 to make out of a fraction. So make it into what, an improper fraction? Is that what you're thinking, Princess? Okay, and that's what you did too? All right, you too? Okay. All right, good. So let's make these mixed numbers into improper fractions and then see if we can cross simplify. So we have 3 times -2. So that gives me a -6. All right. Or if anything, the negative will just, I'll be on the outside. So it's really 3 times 2 gives me 6. Plus 2 will give me 8. So this, I'm just carrying the negative down. So it's going to be 8/3. Okay. So yes, we know that this 2 is going to be negative, but this whole mixed number is going to be negative. It doesn't change the signage. So we just pull the side to a side, pull the sign to the side, and then multiply the denominator with the whole number, get an answer, and then add that answer to the numerator. Once you bring that down, bring down your negative sign. Multiply. Same thing over here. So good. We got 41/10. Good. So 10 times 4 gives me 40, plus 1 gives me 41 over my original denominator, which is a 10. All right, excellent. So you placed a 1 for the denominator. Which one are you talking about, Carmela? Are you talking about the previous one? Okay. So now we're simplifying. Yes. And absolutely, you have to break that down some more, then simplify. Yes. Okay, so don't change this into a mixed number right back, because it's just going to take you right back to the 4 1/10. So now take a look. We have the 8 and the 10. They both have what in common? They both have what in common? Thank you, Janice. They both have 2. Good, Danielle. They both have 2 in common. There you go. Little spoon. So they're even. Carmela, 2. Even numbers. Go. Lori, 2. Yes, 2 cents to rub together. Good. There's 2. So -8 divided by 2 gives me a -4. And the 10 divided by 2 will give me my 5. Then if I look here on the diagonal, I have 41 and 3. Do they have anything in common? Can that be evenly divided or reduced, I should say? Okay, Janice is saying no. Okay, Little Spoon, no. Danielle, no. Lori, no. Ellie, no. Carmela, no. Miracle, no. Break it down some more. Okay, Charlene, no. All right. So, can't really break it down some more because you do that 41 divided by 3, that's not going to give us an even number. So now I can multiply horizontally. So -4 times 44 gives me a -164. And then 3 times 5, that gives me 15. So if I don't have any numbers that I can reduce some more, it's basically going to be this. Okay? So don't forget the negative, because this 8 was a negative. Originally, that was a negative. So make sure it's a -164 over 15. Okay? All right. Yep, so -4 times 41. Did I say 44? All right. So, if you want, depending on the situation, okay, if you want, it might be this. But what happens if I want to turn that into a mixed number? What do I do? I did? Okay. I'm so sorry. Why not cross? Well, there's only one set of crosses. Okay, so we're going to divide it. Exactly. Good job, guys. All right, so we have our 15, and I know I'm going to divide my 164. And I know my answer is going to be negative. I'm going to put it down here. I know it's going to be negative. So how many 15s can go into 1? That'll be none. How many 15s can go into 16? That'll be 1. Bring down my 15. 16 minus 15, that'll be 1. Bring down the 4. We make it a 14. So this is going to be my remainder. We always put the remainder over your divisor. So you have -1 14/15. So what's wrong? Why would it be negative 10? Okay. Why would it be negative 10 and not negative 1? I'll give you a moment to type. Okay, instead of yelling, tell me why would it be a negative 10 instead of a 1? That's the question. Okay, why doesn't it add up? I was like, my goodness. I was like, it's negative 10, it's negative 10. Why is it negative 10? Let's see, Brian. To relearn, okay. Okay. I'm seeing all these lovely answers, but no explanation. Okay, 15 goes into 14 0 times. There, over there, divided 15. Because 14 doesn't divide, you indicate 0. Because 15 goes into 164 10 times. The answer equals 29 14ths. Your answer equals 29 15ths. Okay. As a mixed number, as a decimal, 3 repeating, but it was 15 going into 16. You need to add 0 before I take twice. Try that part again. You're right there. I'm in. Okay, with a remainder of 14. Back to improper fraction because 15 does into 14 0 times. You need number over the 4 in 14. Okay. Interesting explanations. Some of you guys are like right there on the cusp, but you're missing a key component. Like you're saying it, but then there's a part that's missing. No. Is this a test? See, don't get confused. Here's my thing. And this is what I'm trying to say. When we did this, we got our 14, right? So some of you guys said, well, if I do it in reverse, it doesn't take us back to the 164. I agree with that. But then, why am I putting the 0? Some of you guys are tiptoeing and putting your toe in the pool, testing if it's warm, yes or no, instead of just taking the leap and dive in. Why would I put a 0 up here? That's the part that a lot of you guys are missing. You're like, well, there should be a 0. Why? That's what I'm trying to get. Why? Because when you get this, then it will stick in your brain. Not like, well, now I'm confused. I'm like, no, you found an error. Stick with it. Stop being a punk and running away. Stick with it. Okay? Why? No, they don't have to double tap. I appreciate it, but why? You need to add a 0 because 15 cannot go into 14. Okay. But why should I know 15 can't go into 14, but why would I put that placeholder 0? Couldn't I just take the 14 and put it over 15? I want to know why. I know 15 can't go into 14. I know that. But why can't I just do that? Because you guys want me to give you the answer. I want you to learn it because I don't know how much longer I'm going to be on this app. So I need for you to know why. Okay? You need to add the 0 because 15 can't go into 14. Okay? So I need to add the placeholder to represent what? Because you retyping the same thing over and over again is not helping. Thank you, LL Always. Thank you. Everyone read what LL Always has. Read what LL Always has. You have to put it in this perspective. Okay? You need to add that 0 because it has to represent the 10th place. It has to represent the 10th place. So we need something for it to evenly go there. You can't just say the 0 just goes there. I know the 0 goes there, but why does the 0 go there? You found the error, and then you're like, and I'm not getting she's not answering my question, and then you're throwing a fit. Okay? It's time for you to get off the boob and start eating solid foods. Okay? So we need to represent this 10th place. That's why we have that 0 there to represent that 10th place. Because even if I put a 0 here, I'm still going to get my 14, which is still going to be my remainder over the divisor. So instead of, I made it too small or too big. I didn't give myself enough space. So we got our 14s, 15s. Okay? So I loved how you were ready to change your answers. Stop that. You guys have to have confidence in yourselves. As much as you're asking for other people to have strength in you, you have to have strength in yourself. And you can do this. You can get this done. Okay? Please. And I'm not playing mind games. Please don't say that because I will shut this down in a freaking heartbeat. You have to understand those things. Okay? All right? Trying to remember stuff so I can help my life. Awesome. Good. Okay? So we got this. We got this. All right? Have faith in ourselves. So let's see if we can do one more with the mixed number. Let's do this. 4 3/5 times 15. And then after this, we'll go into the division. So 4 3/5 times 15. Okay, awesome. Yes, it is math. Okay, that's all right. The more that you have, the fact that you still want to learn, I love that. Okay, that's awesome. Keep moving forward because we're always constantly learning. That's how we have to get ourselves situated. All right, so for the mixed number and also my queen, the one in pink and also my queen, is saying that we have our 23 fifths. So 5 times 4 gives me 20, plus 3 gives me 23. And over our 5. And then we're multiplying our 15, which a couple people, hold on, someone had it. Little spoon. Let me see. Hey, General. Okay, so little spoon, we got our 15 over 1. Good job. Anytime we have a whole number, we definitely put it over 1. We're not taking away the value of the 15. We're just making it into a fraction. What do you notice? I'm seeing some answers, 69s. But how are we getting that 69? Keep it clean. There we go. All right, so we're canceling or the simplifying the 15 and the 5. Excellent. So 5 divided by 5 will give me 1. 15 divided by 5 will give me 3. And then all we have to do is multiply straight across horizontally. Looks like my denominator is going to be a 1, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. But here I'm going to look at the numerators, and that gives you, yes, your 6 and 9. So it could be 69 over 1, which is simplified to 69. Nice job, everyone. Very nice. Okay, there you go. All right. You're typing too fast. Like, I want to be the first one. I get it. All right. Okay, so what we're going to do? You got lost quick? Well, you just got here. Where did the 23 come from? Sure. When we multiply to make a mixed number into an improper fraction, you multiply the 5 and the 4 and you get 20. And once you get that answer, add the numerator. So 20 plus 3 gives me 23. And you always put it over the original denominator. Okay. Do I agree with Common Core math? No. I would if every state did it, but it just takes away. It takes away. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, everyone does know it. Why is it improper? Why was it not just 12 fifths? Where are you getting the 12 and the 5 from? Oh, I think I see why. Because you're multiplying, not subtracting. Ash, you're multiplying. How many states do? It's not that many. It really isn't. A lot of people just kind of threw it up to the wind. That's why our education system is going to pot. But anyway. All right. Oh, thanks, Jenna. Okay. Yeah, it's really not that many. Okay, so we are going into division. I love how we've been doing simplifying while we're doing everything else, which is awesome. I love that whole kill two birds, one stone mentality. I know it's an awful saying, but here we are. Okay. So we have 5/6 divided by 1/2. Not really. You can go. All right. Yes, Big Al. He's like, I've been waiting all my life to say it. Yes, Big Al. All right. So instead of, and this is when it gets crazy. So if I may take this piece of paper right here. So if we had 5/6 divided by 1/2. Like this looks like a double-decker, okay, sandwich. It looks all kinds of crazy. You're not sure, am I dividing the 6 and the 1 and then get an answer? And it looks crazy. So we're not doing that. So the best way to do is, like I mentioned over here, we're going to multiply the reciprocal. And then we're going to see if we can cross simplify. So when we do this, we can rewrite it. We're going to keep, change, flip. Okay? So that means we're going to keep our 5, 6. We're going to change that division to multiplication. No more X's. We're either using parentheses or dots. And then for the last part, we're going to flip this last fraction. So when you flip it, that's called the reciprocal. Okay, the reciprocal of 1/2 is 2 over 1. The reciprocal of 2 is 1/2. Because remember, when you're about to flip a whole number, make it into a fraction first, then flip. So now, what can we do? Okay, now what can we do? For a funny, right? No, seriously. So we have 2 and 6. So right here, we can simplify. We can cross simplify. So divided by 2, so that 2 is now a 1. This 6 is now a 3. So now we just multiply straight across because the other cross is only 5 and 1. We can't get anything out of it other than 1. So we multiply straight across. 5 times 1 gives me 5. And 3 times 1 gives me 3. And if you want to basically go from an improper to a mixed number, okay, how many 3's can go into 5? Goes in 1 time. 5 minus 3 gives me 2. So we have an answer of 1, which a lot of you guys already said, and 2/3. Okay. All right. Excellent job, guys. Excellent job. Okay. Questions on that one? You usually can use KFC for things to make smaller, aka subtracting and dividing. Okay, basically subtraction and division. Yeah, yes, because sometimes you could just leave it as 5/3, but just so you can get a practice into using mixed numbers, we'll take it to that extent. Okay. All right. When it comes to fractions, that's okay. Yes, when you're dividing, you always flip the second one. Correct. I think that's K Love Book. Okay. Hey, it's me. You're good? Awesome. Okay, let me give you another one. Let's try this one. I think we can handle this by now. So 2 1/4 divided by 3. Yes. So it can be either 5/3 or 1 2/3. So when it comes to like any of the tests, definitely take a look at your answer choices to see which one works. Okay, so that can go. When if you're multiplying, you don't do keep, change, flip for multiplication. Only for division or subtraction. Okay, hey Robert. All right, Danielle saying 3, Ahmed saying 3. General, yep. Multiply by 1/3, good job. Make that mixed number be an improper fraction. Okay, Michelle saying 3/2. Kanori, Shane saying 9/4. Okay, 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. Okay. Nana saying 3/4. Hey, David Square. Okay, Alice saying 3. Okay, we have 3/4. Queen saying 9/4 times 1/3. There you go. Just see if you can simplify. Because you're right there, Queen. This is the second Queen. There's a lot of princesses and queens in here. All right. Represent. Okay. Me. Saying 3/4. Benny saying 3/8. Okay, CG saying 3/4. Hey, it's me. You got it set up good. Now, and the same thing as M right below you, go ahead and cross simplify. Okay. Beverly saying 3/4. Carmela saying 3/4. General saying 3/4. Deja saying 3/4. I know I probably skipped like a whole bunch of people that said 3/4. Oh no, actually no. All right, good. Allie saying 3/4. Good. My queen saying 3/4. Benny saying 3/4. There we go. So let's take a look. So we multiply 4 times 2, that gives me 8, plus 1 gives me 9. And we always put it over the original denominator. So we're going to change that division to multiplication. And then we're going to do the reciprocal of 3. Remember, every time you see a whole number, you put it over 1. But we need the reciprocal of 3/1, which is 1/3. So now you notice here, we can cross simplify. So 9 and 3 both have 3 in common. 3 divided by 3 gives me 1. 9 divided by 3 gives me 3. Then we can just go straight across. Oops. 3 times 1 gives me 3. And 4 times 1 gives me 4. So since it was a proper fraction, we don't have to do any division, which gives us our 3/4. Nicely done. How are you guys feeling? Okay, if you're wondering, we keep the first, we change, and then we flip the second. Okay, you're good? Good. Absolutely amazing. All right. Okay, Big Al, thumbs up. Good. Good. Feeling okay. How about me? Yeah, you know. All right. Nice. Okay, let's do a couple more with division. So I'm going to leave this one. And what I'm going to ask for you guys is to hold your answer. Okay. I'm going to put it in a weird way, but I want you to hold your answer until I tell you to reveal. Okay, let me zoom in so you guys get it. Okay, so go ahead. Okay, my queen, I'm going to show you something after we do this problem. Yep, we're still doing the KCF. Just curious what you got. Excuse me. Okay, we're going to reveal our answer in 10 seconds. Not yet. User. All right, go ahead. Show your answers. What do we got? It's originally division. Okay. We got me squared at 75/32. My queen at 7/5. Big Al 21/15. Danielle 7/5. Lovely. Wait, is this multiplying? This is actually dividing. So Richie 41/32. 1. Hold on. Got this puzzle piece to put together. Guess to prove that I'm still here. All right. So CG saying 1 2/5. Kaya saying 1 2/5. Rosetta said 7/5. All right. Michelle 21. Amin said 21/5. M is saying 7/5. Janice is saying 7/5. Beck squared saying 3/4. Okay. Any other answers? I don't think I skipped anyone. Did I? Did I skip you, Richie? Richie said 41/32. Oh, I hate the puzzle piece. So useless. Okay, Richie's saying 1 9/32. All right, any other answers? All right, my queen says 21/8 times 8/15. Yep, just have to simplify it even further. Jordan squared, how are you? All right, 2 raised. Oh, okay, and the 5/7. What's the puzzle piece? Yeah, every time we're going live, I guess just to... I skipped you? I am so sorry. Where did I skip you? Oh, I do not see. The last thing I saw you said was good. Oh, no, I did. 1 2/5. I am so sorry, Marva Lee. So sorry. See, I did skip you. I'm so sorry. Okay, not sure what the 1 6/15. Susan John, 1 2/5. Okay, we're saying 21/8 and 15/8. And 2 11/32. 23, okay. 7/5, 1 2/5. Or 3 says 1.4. Big Al 1 2/5. No, that's not okay. I don't know how I missed you. Okay. Probably wouldn't be at all. It's that time of year for all the lovely spiders to come around. All right, so let's see. So if anything, we have the 2 5/8. Let's put it in a way that we can understand it. 2 5/8, which is being divided by 1 7/8. So now we need to change these improper or these mixed numbers into improper fractions. So we can do 8 times 2, which gives me 16, and 16 plus 5, that gives me 21. And that's 21/8. And I'm going to, let me just go through step by step so everyone can see where it's coming from. Then I do 8 times 1, which is 8, plus 7. That gives me 15 eighths. But since we have a division, we're going to do our keep, change, flip. So we're going to keep the 21 eighths, change that division to multiplication, and then flip or do the reciprocal of that second fraction, which is 8 15ths. Okay. All right. So now we notice that they both have 8s. One in numerator, one in denominator. Those two cancels out. That means what's left over is my 21 15ths. But 21 and 15, they both have something in common. 3. So if I do 21 divided by 3, that will give me 7. And if I do 15 divided by 3, that will give me 5. So my answer, we're looking at 7 fifths. And if we want it as an improper, we could do the division, or we can pull out one whole if you want. So I know there's one whole. 7 minus 5 gives me 2. So I'll have 2 fifths as a remainder. So you can leave it as 7 fifths, depending on your answer choices, or change it to a mixed number, which is 1 and 2 fifths. Okay, so I'm going to write the word or, so you can go one or the other. All right. How are we fine? How are we doing? Okay, thank you so much for the follows. I appreciate it. Where did I get the 3? Well, 21 and 15, they both have 3 in common. So I know I can find 21 in the 1 times table, the 3 times table, the 7 times table, and then to 15 I can find in the 1 times table, the 3 times table, as well as the 5 times table. So the one number that comes up the most is the 3. Okay, so that's finding the GCF. Okay, that's using the GCF. Okay, so how do you feel now, Wilmer? Learning? Okay. Long division? Okay, was that saying she's good? Everyone's good. Learning how to learn. There we go. That's what it is. Learning how to learn. Okay, facing our fears. I would love, because I feel like every year, everyone always says this. Every year, I'm going to face my fears. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then when it comes time for you to do it, you back down. So let's face it. We all know that at one point in our lives, we were scared about math. I was the same way. I didn't have much confidence. I didn't have much of anyone that can kind of help break it down to me. I really had to rely on my teachers, but even some of my teachers didn't want to teach me. So if I need to do it, I had to figure it out. But things clicked later on in life, like around 25. All of a sudden, someone told me that fractions is just another way of dividing. And I was like, oh my God, that's it. Oh, let me see what else I can learn. And then now that I'm submerged into the educational realm, you know, that's where you see all the time, you know, just to break all these things. Okay, awesome. All right, so one more, or are we done? Yeah, you don't want to flip until... Okay, there's Big Al. Okay, one more. Done. All right, let's do one more. Let's see. Okay, I'll put it this way. Okay, this will be our last one. So again, I'm going to put it up here. You guys are going to work it out. But don't put your answers in yet. We're going to display our answers at the same time. Okay. All right, go ahead and work it out. But do not put your answers up yet. Okay, going to display our answer in 10 seconds. All right, go ahead and display your answers. Let's see what you got. If you're still working, keep working. Okay, so Danielle's saying 18 sevens. Kai is saying 2 and 4 sevens. Jen is saying 18 sevens. Angela, is saying 2 and 4 sevens. Marvell Lee saying 2 and 4 sevens. You see this immediately, have no clue what to do. That's okay. Big Al saying 2 and 4 sevens, or 3 say 2 and 4 sevens. 5 sevens. Okay, Jordan Square say 18 sevens. Then D saying 2 and 4 sevens. User saying 18 sevens or 2 and 4 sevens. Nana saying 18 sevens. Hey, it's me saying 18 sevens. My Hurley Gamble is saying 18 sevens. There we go. I see you now. Danielle is saying or 2 and 4 sevens. Okay. Nelly Squared. Thank you for the follow. Okay. Purple Rain. Oh, I like how you did that. That was cute. Thank you for the follow. All right. Any more answers? 360 Artists. Thank you. Joy Rob. Randolph. Thank you for the follow or sharing the live. Appreciate it. Light. Okay. Joe saying 2 18s. Okay. All right. So let's take a gander. All right, first, we need to change this mixed number into an improper fraction. So we take our denominator, multiply by the whole number. 2 times 4 gives me 8. Then we add that 8 to the numerator, which gives me 9. And we put it over the original denominator, which is 2. I'm going to rewrite everything first. So bring down my division sign. Do the same thing over here. So 4 times 1 gives me 4. 4 plus 3 gives me 7. And you put it over the original denominator, which is 4. Anytime you're doing division, we got our keep, change, flip. So that means this 9/2, I'm just going to rewrite it. I'm going to change that division to multiplication, and then I'm going to flip this fraction, basically doing the reciprocal. So you got your 4/7. So now we're taking a look on the diagonals to see if we can simplify, which we can with the 4 and the 2. What they both have in common as a GCF is 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. I look here at the 9 and the 7. The only thing they have in common, which your greatest common factors, is going to be 1. So now I could just multiply horizontally. 9 times 2 gives me 18. And 1 times 7 gives me 7. So you could leave it as 18/7. Or we can change it into a mixed number. And how we do that is we simply divide. Okay, how many 7s can go into 18? Well, that's 2. 2 times 7 gives me 14. And 18 minus 14 gives me 4. So we don't have anything else to bring down. We don't have to add any zeros. So we got our 4/7. So you can either have an answer of 18/7 or 2 4/7. Okay. So do we have to change it to a mixed number, or we can leave it as improper? Now that's going to be based off of what you see in the test. Normally, I would easily take it as 18/7. Okay. So if you notice that you do the work and you got 18/7, and then you look at your answer choices and you don't see any of them there, and you see some mixed numbers, that's when you have to do it. But if you go and you see 18/7, bubble it, circle it, click it, move on. Okay? And it could be that as a decimal. Thank you. Thank you, WTV. Okay. Great little refresher. Yes. Well, thank you, Yo-Yo. I appreciate that. Okay. To my page, go right ahead. Now, someone asked me about mean, median, and mode. Now, here's the thing. A lot of my lives, you do or you can, how should I put it? Oops. So let me kind of move this to the side just for a second. So all of my lives are recorded. So if you ever want to watch the replays, you just go here, okay, look up here, and if you can, do these 5 things, okay? I kind of brushed up my notes a little bit different this time. All right, so go ahead, subscribe, like, comment, share it, So I actually, if you just type in either measures of central tendency, or even if you just type in mean, median, mode, and range, something should pop up. Because I did that last month. I want to say yes. I want to say last month. So if anything, you can go there. Give me time with tonight's live, because sometimes it takes like hours for this thing to download. And I'm wondering, because if there's a lot of people that is going or that's using, the TikTok studio at the same time, maybe that's why it takes so long. So if anything, definitely take a look for it tomorrow morning. The other thing, if you want, I do provide services. If you need someone for online tutoring, I know the school year just started, and I know some of you guys are going back to school, and you're probably going to rely on the free service that they have at the local college. Based on what I'm hearing from a lot of people, they get a little sick and tired of people just making them feel really small. And I don't feel like I do that. I'm hoping that people that know me or I worked with can speak upon that. I tried to be respectful, but at the same time, I know how to teach. Okay. So I do offer private and small group tutoring. I also have courses. So if you're thinking about getting your GED, you're thinking about getting your ASVAB, and you're knowing that it's at least a good couple months away, go ahead and consider taking the course. Because I know a lot of people are like, well, Audrey, what should I get? What book should I get? What course should I get? Well, if you're thinking about taking any of these exams, okay, the ACCUPLACER is to kind of help place you into what math class you should take. And usually that's taken for people in the college algebra course. So usually that's who it's for. And if you are in college algebra and you need assistance, go ahead. I mean, you can get a whole group of you guys together, and I can keep the price a lot lower, okay, than what I usually offer for my TikTok people. So if you want any of that, you can just go here, and that will take you there. Now, for my books. So I am actually doing a sale for all my books. My books are just a little, I would say about like roughly 55 or like 45% off right now. Because some people, it just got crazy. So I have my notebooks, and that's what I was working out of tonight. So this is one of my notebooks that I've created. You can do it for the formulas. You have the steps. It gives you room with the dot on one side, and it gives you the grid on the other side. So there's roughly like 100 of these pages. But what's also a lot of people like, because this is for like pre-algebra and algebra 1, is the reference pages that are in the very back. So if you need help with finding factors for factoring or breaking down radicals, that's what the factor charts are for. And I go up to 1 to 200. Okay, so I have from 1 to 200. Also, other references. What are some of the terminology that's used in everyday word problems to help you with operations? And so you get into the squares and the cubes. I got the whole list of your perfect squares and perfect cubes all the way up to 15. Okay, really, these are what a lot of our students nowadays should memorize, all the way up to 15. Okay, so that's something. The rules of integers, also inequalities, interval notations, that's later on in Algebra 1, order of operations, properties of exponents. We worked on this not too long ago. Then we had our linear and quadratic equations. Then we have our fractions operations, what to do. We just did all this for the past couple of days. Then we have decimal operations, place value. We have percentages, all the referencing from one to the other, because sometimes we get things mixed up, especially with decimal to fraction and percent to fraction. A lot of people generally get those mixed up. Then you have your arithmetic and your geometric sequencing. Here is from my friend that I think it was Queen that went mean, median, and mode. It gives you the reminder here. Also distance, speed, and time, as well as the measure of variance, so that range. Then you have your graphing, your linear equations, system of inequalities, system of equations, area and perimeter, Pythagorean theorem, and trig, volume, surface area, and last but not least, the conversion chart, okay? Especially those that are going into nursing, you need this, okay? Especially from liter to milliliters, then also your mass, okay, and weight. You definitely need all of that, okay, just to give you that. So all this is in one book. And again, I said this is for pre-algebra to algebra 1. I do have one for algebra 2 and calculus. I just haven't ordered it yet. But this is what I do. We put it all in, try to keep it nice and clean. So it's a quick reference to formulas. It gives you room if you want to take bits and pieces from your notebook and cut them up and put them in your book. You can do that. If you want to tape one side, what is that page page that your teacher gave you and say, don't lose this, you can summarize it on the other side. Okay, so it kind of keeps you with that organization. And then I'm not here to tell you what you need to do, but if I was you, I would get all these notes together, and if I knew somebody was going to take that class the next year after I passed it, because you're going to pass it, I would sell this book to them. I'm just saying, that's just me. Now, here's the other thing. If you're just like, hey, Audrey, can I just get your notes? Like, that would be wonderful. Well, this is book 6 of a whole little series that I have here called Audrey's Notes. So Audrey's Notes, books 1 through 5 is out, ready and available. It is the exact Xerox copy, but basically it's scanned, of all of my notes from like February 2nd. So that's when I started taking TikTok a little seriously. So here we have dividing polynomials using the grid method. Then we have rationalizing the denominator. Then we have percentage problems. But the one thing that you're noticing, there's also a QR code. This QR code will take you directly to the live recording, just like what we do here, but it's on my YT channel. And all you have to do is scan it, and it'll take you straight to, like in this case, percentage problems. This is from like May 1st. And you will just use this to follow along. And then you can use it for mediation. You can use it for it's almost like having a tutor at a cheaper rate. Okay? So, yep. Do I have one for biostats? No, I do not. Not for biostats. That is not me. Could it be used for the ASVAB test? Of course. Not on it, but it can be used to research it. But here's my thing. If you are, and this is what I was thinking about today, and I'm going to be as real can be. There's like 254 of you. If you are thinking about taking the ASVAB in the next, let's say in the next month, maybe month, before what, Thanksgiving, we can do this. And I don't know if I should, because every time I get someone that's like, yeah, Audrey, I need tutoring. I need your help. And then I'm like, yeah, okay, let's do a session. And then all of a sudden, I'm sitting here like a dumbass waiting for someone to come on the Zoom call, and they don't come on. So that happened a lot yesterday. Hence, that's why I wasn't here. I'm not even going to sit here and lie to you, because I was feeling myself, and I did not want to put that anger into you guys, because you don't deserve that. Oh, I forgot. I have a lefty series of the same notebook. So if you're left-handed, I got you. I feel you. I know your pain. So if you do have someone that's a lefty that would love to have a left-handed math notebook, go ahead. I have it both for the Algebra 1, Algebra 2, pre-algebra, Algebra 1, as well as the Algebra 2 pre-calculus. So if you need the books, you can come here and you can buy the books. And right now I'm running a sale that all of my books, like this is normally a $21, $22 book. Trust me, when you're using color, because all of it almost opened on the wrong side. Because all of it's in color. Even though this is the only thing in color, but because of this back portion, it doesn't matter if I had just one little smidgen of color. That's why I just went nuts with the colors. I was like, well, shoot, since I'm paying for it, might as well use it, right? So because it's in color, because of the detail that it is, and especially the left-handed book, but I'm selling it for $10.97. Or not 97. Sorry, $10.29. Okay, $10.29 each book, and that's for the whole month of September. So you can be like, and you get a book, and you get a book, and you get a book. So if you want to go nuts with getting books, this is the month to do it. I am not doing it again for the rest of the year. I might do it maybe next September, but it will not happen again. So if you want to get the books, this is the perfect time to do so. All right. How much are the tutoring sessions? You were texting earlier today, but I got busy with work. Oh yeah, I can message you back. Is shipping expensive? It's around like no, it's not 15. It's around like 5, depending on where you at. Like if you're international, yeah, that's gonna be a bit much. Okay, are good days for me. Okay, Fridays and Saturdays, good days for you. Okay, which they're good days for me too. So this is what I was thinking. Now you can call me a dumbass. Just put it in the chat. So if you're thinking about getting the ASVAB done within the months of, say, September, October, let's say that way, before Halloween, and you just want someone to help break down concepts, like we're currently using the book, ASVAB for Dummies. I'm telling you, it's a horrible name, but the book and the questions that is being used in that book is very close. I keep hearing it's very close to how they test. Like that's probably the closest one out there. And it's the most recent one. So for those, if you're interested in having like mini sessions, and I'm thinking like possibly like once a week, we get together as a group. I know. But, and I just really just want to just say we can go through section by sections, and we also can go through some of the test questions and just really just how I how I break down things here. Does that sound like something that can be done? And please don't just be like, oh, let's stroke Audrey's ego. It's not about my ego. I don't want to design something and then all of a sudden it'll just be like 2 or 3 people. And I want to keep the cost low, like lower than low, so I can get more people in, so I can help more people. Is that reasonable? Is that your link to your bio? This is the link to the books. So how many books do I have total? Oh gosh. Let's see. So I got Audrey's Notes 1 through 5. I have these 2 books. I pulled the older books because their reference is a little outdated. And then I have the 4 through 6. So yeah, so about like 6. And then I had like 2 coloring books for girls because I wanted to do like a women's empowerment type thing. Yeah, that went south, but I still have the books there. So I have 2 sets of coloring books there and 1 empowerment planner. Yep. So how can you order books? Just go to this link. Just go to link. That's all it is. I wish I can give you guys a link, but it's TikTok. They won't let you do that. Okay. So that one I haven't really defined yet. I really just want to know how many people are interested in it. Because then, if anything, message me, because that's the only way. Just send me a message. There is a Service Plus button at the bottom of your phone. If you click on that and just like send me like a text message or an email. I'm sorry, it was really an email. And just say, I'm really interested in that. And just tell me what days are you available. Because right now, this is the best time to get me for you guys. Because I know, and I'm a true believer in manifesting, that I know a lot of my students are going to come back possibly the end of this month, beginning of next month. Because that's when I usually start getting my wave, because everyone thinks, oh, this is easy, I don't have to do anything. And then all of a sudden they get their first test and all hell breaks loose. They're like, nope, you're going back to Miss Audrey. That's it. So that's chilling. Need GED. How much is your course? My course is 147. I had to look because I was doing some stuff. So my course is 147. It's 107 videos, plus you get practice problems as well as quizzes. So it's like it's a whole jam-packed thing. Yes. Yes. So if you're trying to go into the military, that's what the ASVAB's for. So it's the entry level exam. Where do you benefit better off your books? I don't even know, Janice, anymore. I don't know if I benefit anywhere. I'm just trying my hardest to do God's work, if I can really be honest with you. But I don't think I want to be an apostle anymore. Because this stuff is ridiculous. I don't even know how. I don't know. I'm just trying to help people so they can achieve their greatness, so they can do better and do more than what I ever could. That's all. Okay. No, it's not. Sorry. Yeah, that's all. That's all. And I don't know if I'm doing it right, if I'm doing it wrong. I have no idea. But all I know is I just want people to grow and to achieve greatness. So if it's something if it's ASVAT, let it be ASVAT. I know it's hard for those that are trying to get into nursing. And if you're currently in the nursing field, it's tough because your schedule is never set. And that's what sometimes it gets frustrating, because it's hard for you to deal with things on a set schedule, because you're trying to do what you can do to make your money so you can have your living and all that stuff, but you want to do advancement. And I'm more than willing to do it, but I really think that if you have a course, if you're not doing anything, my course can help with the algebra piece. But if you need someone to help you with, like, saying doses calculation, I'm hoping that you're following a blessed RN. Or if you need, especially some other people that are doing GED, like, yes, I can do GED, but there's also another person, Miss Taylor. She comes on like every afternoon at 2 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock Eastern, which is 1 o'clock Central. And she is Impact Math. You can check her out. So you can definitely do it. I'm glad you stopped by, user. Thank you. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Janice. Do I have books for GED? Right now, I just have courses. So, and what I've been doing is I've been pulling information to help you with the GED, because I can actually do a quick discussion on GED, because when it comes to the GED, not every question is graded at the same rate. You have a grading scale of 1 through 4. Now, a 4-point question will be anything dealing with slope, the equation of the line, system of equations, volume, anything of that retrospect, anything that has to deal with linear equations, factoring. Those are 4-point questions, and a lot of people generally skip over those, and they wonder why they can't pass. You can't skip over those, especially anything linear. So that's y equals mx plus b. That's finding the slope, finding the equation of the line, knowing how to graph a inequality on a coordinate plane. Those are 4-point questions. All right. So 1-point questions will be like 1/2 plus 3/4. That's a 1-point question. What is the place value of, what does the 2 represent in the place value of 2.34? That 1-point question. A 2-point question will be solving like a 1-step or a 2-step equation. A 3-point question will be, what will be a 3-point question? That will be solving multi-step. That will be translating a word problem into an expression, and solving. That will be solving absolute values. That will be looking at probability That will be like a 2 or 3 point question depending on the situation. So knowing that and knowing where to hit hardest at, you'll be able to, if you just get couple those 4 point questions and you hit hard on those like 1 and 2 point questions, you'll pass the GED. Some people are just like 4 points away. Oh, thank you. So some people are just like 4 points away. And here's the sad part. I didn't even put together a goal for gifts on here. That's where I'm just like, TikTok just does whatever they want to do to make money off of you. And now that, if you haven't noticed, they've been doing stuff on STEM. They're like, ooh, we noticed that there's a lot of teachers on here. Okay, let's see if we can take some. So it doesn't help us at all. So that's why I was doing this. And I know one person's like, oh, that broke the mood of everything. And I'm like, look, because this is what will help me. So again, I appreciate the gifts, but you're just paying TikTok. You're not paying me, if I may be so blunt. You're like, basically TikTok's taking this money, and rotating it. But if you can help, even $1 Cash App, that will work out perfect. But if you guys can do a Google review, if I helped you out at one point in time, you're like, oh, I really love that. This will help me get more clientele, so I don't have to come on here and feel like I'm begging every 2.2 seconds. Just to make some kind of living. I would greatly appreciate it. And you just have to just do a search for this. And if you could do a review, that'll be great. I think I'm like 16 or 17 people away from 100 reviews. So just to put that in mind. But thank you so much for the gifts. I do appreciate it. It tells me that you appreciate it. And maybe I should keep going. There's days I don't know. Like, there are days I'll be like, I'm sitting here and I'm putting all these things together and making sure that it's something that's doable. It's something that's challenging, at least a little bit challenging, or something that you haven't seen before, but it takes planning. So that's my 2 cents. Don't benefit off that. Yep. Yeah, I'm telling you. Like, say that when you give a rose, that should be a penny. And a rose is the equivalent to a penny. And that's why so many people say, hey, can you give me a rose? Like, can you give me like 1 rose, or 100 roses is the gold, or something like that. And you would think, dang, that's a lot. But when TikTok's taking like 50%, if not a little bit more, it's really not a lot. So just so people know. All right, I should keep going. I mean, some days I just wonder. And I think everyone feels that way at least once in their lives, or a few times. But these are the things that I really focus on teaching. So if anything with Algebra 1, Algebra 2, I love Algebra 2 and College Algebra. That's my jam. Geometry I can do. I'm not a pure lover of it, but I do it. Pre-calculus I can do as well. And today was my first SAT prep class with 2 young ladies from Puerto Rico, and it was awesome. It was awesome. There was a couple of times, like, there was a little language barrier, but we got through it. It's like, I can read the sense, and I'm like, you feel confused about that? She's like, yes, that's the word, confused. I got it. And then the more we were talking about this, the more that I was starting to get angry because of English is not their strongest language. They still speak English, but reading it, like speaking it and reading it, is like 2 different worlds. And considering this test is completely done in English and, like, say equilateral. Yeah, if they don't know equilateral in English, how fair is this test? That's why I don't like the SATs at all. It's not universal. It's not, and it's so upsetting. So you're making people feel like they're stupid, but they're not. It's just because they can't really get full-fledged of the language. It's upsetting to me. I don't know. It's just I don't know. I think I'm just overly passionate. I think I just need to calm down. Anyway, but these are the things that I do. If you need the assistance, if you're thinking about it for the ASVAB, let me know. Okay? Let me know of the dates that you're available, and we'll make it happen. Because I know people work, and that's why I tutor 7 days a week. You know, I'm one of those people that I don't chill. And maybe that's my problem. But I know how it feels when all of a sudden you want to go get a tutor, but that tutoring center is closed on the weekends. Like, it's an hour a day of my day, you know? Sometimes I just set aside 3 hours a day. It doesn't ruin my whole day. It actually picks my day up sometimes. All right? So, okay. When is ASVAB math? You sign up for the ASVAB. Like, I know you have to get a recruiter and all that stuff, so it all depends on when you're going to take the test. But I would love to start it as soon as possible. Like, I'm thinking about this weekend. I'm thinking about this Saturday or Sunday. I know it's football season. Everybody want to watch the game. But, hey, let's figure out a date and a time. You know, my car broke down, so it doesn't matter. I don't go to church on Saturdays anymore. I go on Fridays. I go to a local one, so I'm good. So as long as I'm able to praise God at least once a week, I'm good. You know, so we can figure it out. So let's do this. Okay? So let that be known. When do you want it? Grandson in math. All right, awesome. Definitely. Okay, you don't care. My education is more important. Yep. So just let me know. Let me know. I know some people want to do the GED. Maybe might even just send me a message. Hey, Audrey, I'm really interested in GED. I want to do it because I want to take my test next month. Or I want to, you know, if it's like I'm taking my test next week, all right, let's meet up once. Because that's all you really need. Relatively close. Maybe not the day before you take the test. Maybe a couple days before you take the test. And we'll do one session. And just let's do a review. Let's look over some stuff. Okay, let's build up your confidence. Because I want you to, how should I put this? I want you to overcome your fear and let your greatness be your motivation to achieve. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out, my words. You can tell it's definitely almost midnight. I don't want this test to define who you are. That's what it is. I don't want the test to define who you are. It's a hoop that you have to jump through. Yes, we don't want to jump through hoops. We are not like canines. We are not ponies. You know, we're human beings. But guess what? We live in a world that we have to jump through hoops to prove our reasoning for being here. It's the same. It sucks, but this is what we got to do. So why not go in there with confidence, feeling good, just take the test. No hard feeling. Let's do it. Let me just take the test. Okay, if I pass it, beautiful. All right, now let me show you what I can do. Like, that was the one thing. I just gave you a snippet of my life. That's it. Because now you are basically witnessing a comeback story in real time. That's what we all are. We all have our pitfalls. And we're going to be one of those comeback stories that everybody's going to talk about. But we have to get past this barrier. Once we get past this, we can do anything. Anything our hearts and minds could desire. Anything. So, you want to take your test at the end of this month? Yeah, do it. If you feel, Janice, that we need to like brush up a couple of times, then we can meet and brush up a couple of times. You already know how I am, okay? You already know. You know, roughly go ahead and schedule it for the end of this month. Because for you dragging it out, it's just going to make it worse. And then all of a sudden, you're going to want to do things in October. You're going to want to do things, but now you got this test in your mind. Sign up for it at the end of this month. Okay? Just sign up for it. Okay? Yep. Just sign up for it. Go ahead, figure out when the dates and the times are, where the location you want to be. Figure out the location where you're not going to have any distraction, a location where you're going to feel comfortable taking the test. Like you're actually sitting in a chair. I don't know if BCCC still have it in their auditorium, because that's ridiculous. You're not comfortable like that. Okay? See if you can go somewhere else if they're doing it somewhere else. Okay. No problem, DD. Thank you for coming in. Towson area? Yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, go to Towson. Sign up at Towson, see when they're going to have it. And then we'll do a little check-in dates and do some things. Like, what were the areas that you don't feel well? Okay, definitely. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, come on now. There's a reason why we're here. I don't know what exactly is, but I think our purpose is to serve each other. We learn something, then we have to teach others people how to do it. Okay? If that means keep the stories alive in our households, and we got to keep whatever alive, we got to do it. But here's my thing. I don't want math to be the barrier. Math used to be my barrier. And now look at me. I'm teaching it. What the hell? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. But that's what happens. All of a sudden, it's just like it started to click. And now look at me. I'm like building math notebooks that people are trying to copy exactly the thing. All because I made one. They haven't seen my left-handed books, but I know that's coming out soon. You know, the Audrey's notes. Okay, just the fact that I'm taking my notes and I'm making copies of this. This is all on sale now. Like, this is on sale for $10.29. Like, and you can get books 1 through 5. They're already, because we're currently on book 6. But then, if you want all the videos and you just want to go ahead and look through the videos, here's another resource. You can go there. Okay, so there's no excuse. You got someone that can help you with it. And if there's something in particular you need help with, then open up your mouth and say, hey, Audrey, or type in and say, Audrey, I need help with this. You have no excuse anymore. Now you got someone that's willing to break concepts down for you. And I know you're like, well, let me see her out. Well, then check a look at the videos. Go and do a Google search. You can, anything you want to know about me, go ahead. Trust me, get in line with all the stalkers that I got. Because it's getting ridiculous. You know? But I'm at the point where I can't run scared anymore. I can't. I refuse. I absolutely refuse. So, let's get it done. Let's get it done. Let's get it done together. Okay? It is doable, JBB. That's what I'm saying. It's doable. Make you want to teach math now? You probably could. You probably could. And that's the thing. You have to believe in yourself. And I know there's a lot of people here that's like, oh, here she goes preaching again. Well, then stop sabotaging yourself. Because how many times that you guys want to sit here and like, oh, I want to take this test, and you probably seen my video, probably seen Miss T's video, probably saw this person's video. You probably went to ASVAB Drill. There's another guy, ASVAB Drill. There's another person, Grammarly Man or Grammar Man, I think is another person that a lot of people that want to take the ASVAB watches that. And then you got people that are doing T's test, and you have people doing all these other exams, and you watch their videos over and over, and you go to their lives every single blessed day. And then when it's time for you to pull the trigger, you're like, nope. So then what's the freaking point of you sitting here and watching the video if you're not going to follow through? I know there's a lot of teachers who are like, oh, okay, well, here's the answer, and there's that. Okay, all right, we're done. Yay, all right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay, can you break it down for me? Everybody's like, oh, well, you got Khan Academy. Well, guess what? Khan Academy is not a human being. It's a video, and I can't ask it questions. And I got questions. And you guys ask awesome questions. That's how you learn. That's how all of us learns. Okay, always have financial problems, and now I'm trying to do the college for business and finance. And here's my thing. Because you want it, Faith, that's why you're doing it. Because no one talks about financial problems. No one talks about finances. My parents did just enough. But as we get older, just enough doesn't work. You need more than a savings account. You need more than just a checking account. Why haven't I had anybody talk to me about IRAs until I became a teacher and we had to do those stupid professional development days? Why is no one talking to me about insurance? How come we don't talk about insurance in our household? We have to wait until we got some random person that we don't know and they're saying, oh, you need this insurance and that insurance. Why do we not have those discussions? So now we're in a situation that anybody can tell us anything, take our money, and then all of a sudden when it's time for you to cash in, you're not getting as much money. You're like, whoa, 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 where's all the money at? Like, I love how teachers, because I was a teacher, I was a classroom teacher for 22 years. And then when I'm looking at my retirement, I'm like, dude, all of this will be gone in like 2 years. And I'm not saying that I'm going to be like, oh, let me buy some red bottoms. And you know what? I want to get like human hair. Like, I'm going to snatch this person's hair right off her head, just shave her and then tape it onto my head, right? Make me look like an Indian. Like real Indian hair. Just snatch it off there. But no, I'm not even doing that. I know. People are like, oh my God. Right? I'm not even doing that. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, okay. I'm looking at this and I'm like, dude, how am I going to live after 2 years? They don't care. And all of a sudden, the insurance that you were getting as a regular teacher when you retired, they're trying to give you the same package. And all of a sudden, it went from like $22 a week to like $1,200 a month. Say what? Why am I staying with you? And then you have to go hunting and all this stuff. Trust and believe, because no one talks about this stuff until you need it. Until you need it. Yep. College algebra. Yep. She's a Puerto Rican. I look like a Puerto Rican in this hair. Right? But that's the thing. No one talks about this. So now look at us. In our 30s, in our 40s, in our 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Going back to college. Sitting in a classroom. Everybody in their 20s, maybe teens, because you have some of those advanced kids that are on the fast track that are taking college level courses. And then you're looking at the professor who's the same age as your grandson. And you're sitting there like, I don't want to feel stupid. I don't want to ask questions. But guess what? It quickly transports you right to when you're in middle school, sitting in the classroom where everyone seems to get it. And you're sitting there like, I want to ask a question, but damn if I do, that means we're not going to have enough recess time. And I don't want to be that person that does that. No one talks about it. No one talks about it. Okay? Yep. So that's the real... I want to be honest with you. I came on TikTok because I was like, look, I have this business. I know I know I don't want to say I'm the bleep, but I'm pretty up there. It's midnight. There shouldn't be any kids on this platform. But I know I understand because I take the time to go through things step by step. And there are a lot of people that know the information but don't know how to break it down to people. That's where I feel I'm gifted, because I know how it feels to struggle as a student, because I used to be a struggling student. Fractions, all this stuff with fractions, shoot, I wasn't doing that. When I was in school, I was not doing that. All the stuff that I was doing with dividing fractions and decimals and all, nope. Word problems, oh, hell no. I used to skip those things like there's no tomorrow. But I was told by a teacher that if you want to be an educator, you have to know how to break down word problems. You have to face your fear. And that's exactly what I did. And I was like, okay, this is what it means to facing my fear. Because we can't sit here and say, oh, I want to be rich and famous, but I don't want to do anything to become rich and famous. I'm just going to let God handle it. God's not going to do everything. He'll lead us. He'll guide us. He'll support us. But I'm going to tell you, you're going to have to do the work. You're going to have to do the work. And we all struggle in math. Like, I don't know if you can see my thing is like, yeah, I know there's tons of people that are smarter than I am. Tons. But the difference is no one outworks me. Maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing. I know a lot of people who are tutors that want to advance in their tutoring business, but they don't want to do the work. So I used to help tutors, but now I stopped because everyone's like, oh yeah, that's nice, but that's a lot of work. No, yeah, I know it's a lot of work because I did that last year, or I did that 2 years ago, and I'm still working towards it. Word problems were a struggle for you? Yes. All math, because no one actually sat down and said, this is why. And let me try to show you how to connect, because when we were younger, we had multiplication chants. Remember, we had to do the 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. That's what we did. We did the times table. They don't do that anymore. Once they got this thing called a calculator, that shut down multiplication, that shut down division, that shut down fractions, that shut down every advanced thing. That's how I'm able to have a tutoring business. I hate to say it, but it's real. That's how I'm able to have a tutoring business. Because kids don't know multiplication. And my friend Lynette here, she breaks down multiplication using the abacus. And that's the most hands-on way of learning how to do multiplication. Because we as parents, I can't say we, but as parents, a lot of us, we don't teach like how other people's used to teach. Like we used to go to a neighbor's house and all this stuff, and someone will break down if we're lucky enough to have that. Now everything is electronic or it's on video. No one actually gets like a cup and gets some dried beans and have the kids, here's 6 cups. Here's 30 beans. Like get a little snack size bag of 30 beans. Here's 30 beans. Here's 6 cups. I want you to evenly distribute those beans into a cup. It should be the same number of beans in a cup, and watch them work. That's how they learn. And then you can say, what did we learn? We got 5 beans in 6 cups. 5 times 6 is 30. Put it up on the wall. And on the wall, there's like a sheet of paper where they're learning their multiplication tables. My mom used to do that to me. God love her. The one thing I couldn't say in math I was terrified of was circle. I don't know why. just didn't look like the way it was. And then Europe was another word that I just couldn't get. Yeah. Right. Show and tell. And using tactical things. And we're afraid to do that. And we need to do that. And we need those reference. But now it's great that they have these multiplication games out there. That's awesome on Cool Math. If you ever want to have your kids do it like math and then more gamified, there's something called Cool Math. I think it's coolmath.com, if I'm not mistaken. It's either .com or .org, one of the two. And it has math games on there so they can get into multiplication, and they'll figure it out. Trust me. If they play around with it enough, they'll figure it out. Hell, you'll probably do it with them, and you're like, this is kind of cool. Yeah. So, trying your best at it. Trying your best to get that. I got a problem right now using or afraid when I was in college. Yep. I know. I wanted to be a math major because I really wanted to learn how to do math. But then I had this professor that wrote the textbook. And I was like, I'm doomed. Because I had no idea what was going on. And I hate it when everyone was just like, oh, God, she just doesn't know anything. And it's like, that's the worst feeling in the world when someone looks at you and just rolls their eyes and huffs. I don't know why it is. It just is. And it shouldn't. You would think that I'm 6'1", that it wasn't about, look, I'm a gentle giant. Okay? I'm a gentle giant. I have feelings. But it just seems like it's really hard to get over because you didn't have someone to break it down. They just assumed that you were just going to stay dumb for the rest of your life. Well, what's the point of me teaching them because she's not going to know? Really? Yep, they're out there. Yeah, it's called Cool Math. I don't know if I can. Hold on. Because it's been a minute since I had it. Hold on. I think they changed their name to Cool Math Games. Yeah, they did. Nope, here it is. Coolmath.com. Yep. So it's coolmath.com. But it also guides you to nope, they changed their name. Coolmathgames.com. That's what it's called. Sorry. See if I can get back to you guys. Okay, sure, no problem. Coolmathgames.com. Because maybe that will help, especially people that are not strong with their multiplication tables. You might just need a fun little game for it. And of course, there's a lot of games that you can do that simulates multiplication and even gathering of tens. I've seen a couple of games on, on Apple as well. Alrighty. Okay. Well, I'm going to wrap up. I think I've outworn my welcome. But again, thank you so much for coming in. If you are thinking about either ASVAB or GED, and even people that are in the beginning stages of, the TEAS test, or even because you can go in with GED as well, because a lot of those basic algebra skills are in your same examination. So, but you can definitely use that. But if you're thinking about it and you want to do it, let me know, because I'm not going to put anything together until there is a need. And because I just get easily frustrated. Like, okay, I did all this and this sounds like a really cool idea and it sounds like it could be beneficial not only for you but also for me. And then it just kind of goes flat. Man. So, first, outer, inner, last rules. Yes, foil. What about the foil technique? What about the foil technique? Yep. See, some people just get confused with FOIL. Just take the first term in the first parenthesis and distribute to everything in the second parenthesis. Then take the second term in the first parenthesis and distribute to everything in the second parenthesis. That's what foiling is. You got FOIL, you got box method. That's multiplying polynomials. So if you go here, you can see when you type in multiplying polynomials, you'll see a few videos that we already did. So that's in there. Okay? No problem, Big Al. It's always a pleasure. Alrighty? Okay, so I'm going to go and pass out. Well, at least I got one student at 11. So, but if there's anything that you think can be beneficial for you, please let me know. Because how many people are willing to say that? Like, not even just on this app, just in general. How many people are literally coming up to you and saying, what is it that you need? And if you need to pass the GED, you need to pass the ASVAB, if you need to pass any of those type of tests, or even if you're taking college algebra and you need to pass college algebra and your professor seems like he or she is talking in a foreign language and it's going way too fast, reach out to me. Reach out to me. And if we need to make this into a study group, I'm more than willing to do it. But at the same time, you got to want to do it. Okay? You have to want to do it. Like right now, shoot, I'm divorced. I don't have any. At the same time, you got to want to do it. Okay? You have to want to do it. Like right now, shoot, I'm divorced. I don't have any kids. My dog died a long time ago. You know, I got 2 cats. They're street cats, but they adopted me. They tolerate me. They tolerate me. As long as I let them go outside and do cat stuff, I don't know what it is. One day I wish to buy a GoPro and tape it onto them and just see what the hell they do. Because they come back and they're just like, they eat and then they fall asleep for hours. Like hours. I'm wondering. Good gracious. Okay. All right. We'll be doing it over. When will you be doing is over? Yeah, nobody cares. Okay, enjoy. Good night. No problem. Okay. Rolling Stones, right? Jesus. But anyway, if it is something that you want to do, that'll be awesome. Okay. I care. Saying nobody cares? That's true. You know. But until it's something that has to be of a financial thing, that's when people start caring. But for some reason, I keep going because I know there's a handful or maybe even a few hundred people that do care. Because you guys are still here. Listen to me rambling on. All right, so I'm out. You guys have a lovely night, or AKA morning if you're on the East Coast. And I will see you tomorrow, which might be the same 9:30. It might be early. I hate to be daunting, but it all depends on if a student shows up, yes or no. If he doesn't, I'll be over here talking about something. Okay? All right. Thanks, Big Al. Thanks, Lynette. All right, guys. I'll catch you on the flip side. Please be careful and continue to be awesome Americans and awesome people. You know, not even Americans. I don't even know why I said that. Like I'm like giving a speech, like I'm the president or something weird. But just keep being amazing people, because your heart, your soul, and your desire is needed. And your greatness is needed as well. So if math is the barrier, let me help you break it down. All right. Talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye now.